layoff notices for them to go home. Most of them who spoke to TV3 Business said the layoffs were attributed to the meltdown of business owing to the coronavirus pandemic. Josephine NHA has more.
Now, Bronkwa is a clearing agent and an administrator of a freight forwarding company.
It's so devastating so far because business has really slowed down, and we fear, or even we are in the position of going home, being asked to go home because there's no business. And if we should go home, which of course management has communicated, we don't know what is going to happen.
Frimpong Romeo has lost his job.
We have but less to do. We will have to go home because honestly, most of our supplies comes from China, and that is where the advent of the coronavirus began. Therefore, when it is not coming anymore, management has nothing to do than tell us to go home.
Most freight forwarding companies have issued circulars to their workers to stay at home. An executive member of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Stephen Ochredakon, justified the layoff of 20 of his staff.
There are people who, if they don't go out, will not eat. These are the people we are thinking about them. If we have to, hoard food, these people cannot hoard food. They don't even have a place to sleep, let alone, stock up for these in these difficult times. So these are some of the things we are also contemplating, and I am asking my workers from 1st April to stay at home.
Well, so is Ghana locking down or not? It has become a very big debate even here in the newsroom. But senior lecturer and economist at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfrey Bokpeng, says Ghana does not have enough buffer stock in the face of a lockdown. Although other countries have already locked down, he insists they have the space and sufficient reserves to keep its economy on track. He was reacting to calls from some stakeholders on locking down the country. As part of efforts in finding measures to curb the spread of COVID-19, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has said the country will resort to various means, such as the Stabilization Fund, as well as support from the IMF and the World Bank to bridge revenue shortfall. Questions of the rising debt stock has been raised should the country seek for support. Currently, Ghana's public debt stock stands at 218 billion cedis as at the end of 2019. This showed a growth of 25.93% over the 2018 debt figure of 173.1 billion cedis. Economist Professor Godfrey Bokpeng insists going beyond the debt limit will not count under a state of emergency.
During this time, typically you will not be talking about your debt limit. During this time, typically you will not be talking about the Fiscal Responsibility Act. During this time, you will not be talking about the 5% fiscal deficit. These are unusual times. Unusual times call for unusual measures, and for that reason, the discussion of our debt limit and all of that, though relevant, we have to understand that the country is facing critical challenges that require us to think beyond the normal situation of debt to GDP ratio and all of that.
On calls for a lockdown by some stakeholders, Professor Bokpeng says a lot of conversation must go on to fill the gaps before such conversation starts. And the conversation is ongoing. Meanwhile, there are fears of stigmatization of some hotels used as quarantine centers following the outbreak of COVID-19. Now, this follows the use of over 15 hotels in Accra as quarantine centers. President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr., says this should not affect the hospitality industry, which is gradually turning into a ghost town. The hospitality industry worldwide has had its fair share of its effects of COVID-19, and Ghana is no exception. Bookings have dropped significantly and patronage is at its barest minimum. Even more, the use of over 15 hotels as quarantine centers for people arriving in the country has raised concerns. President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr., says this should rather be seen as the industry's contribution towards fighting the pandemic.
The decisions and selection of the hotels was between government and the selected hotels. So we want to see this more like a call to duty by the hotels, a call to duty to support the country's quest to find a solution to the spreading of the virus, and not necessarily for profit.
He assured patrons of effective disinfection during and after the period to prevent further spread.
I'll be surprised if anybody should attach any stigma to these hotels. I would rather we congratulate them for taking that bold step, and I believe the right measures have been put in place to ensure that these hotels are disinfected effectively during the time of the quarantine and also after.
It is expected that revenue generated from the use will cushion owners even as they count their losses. Right, so remember you can log on to 3news.com for more news updates looking at business and the impact of COVID-19. But that's about it. I'm Naneke Amensa Brampa. Alfred.
Well, Naneke, I can see, the coronavirus has forced you to change your hairstyle.
Oh,
so
no.
you don't go to the salon.
I already have short hair, Alfred.
Because of this fear of...
Alfred, I already have short hair. Come on.
No, I'm just saying. But anyway, thank you.
I'm just trying to keep up appearance. Look good.
It's all good. You look beautiful. Anyway. But President Akufo-Addo has granted amnesty to 808 prisoners. The decision was taken upon the recommendation of the Prison Service Council of the Ghana Prison Service and in consultation with the Council of State. It appears a statement signed by the Director General of Prisons, Patrick Dako Mesa, noted the decision was taken in accordance with Article 72(1) of the 1992 Constitution. While some say it is in a bid to decongest the prisons, the statement did not indicate same. The statement further explained that the categories of convicts affected are 783 first offenders who have served half of their sentences, 11 seriously ill prisoners, 7 inmates on death row, 4 inmates serving a life sentence to have a sentence commuted to 20 years, definite terms, and then 3 very old prisoners, 70 years and above. So that's the details of the statement communicating the decision by the president to grant amnesty to some 808 prisoners. Now, we've seen in other countries that they release prisoners as a result of the coronavirus outbreak in those countries, but this statement did not really make any direct correlation to that. Karija Chem is the head of public affairs at the Ghana Prison Service. He joins me on the telephone. Mr. Chem, thank you for time this evening. First off, let me confirm, did you get any communication beyond what we know in the statement that the release of these prisoners was as a result of the coronavirus outbreak?
Not at all. What we have is exactly what is in the statement.
I see. But this is normally done on Republic Day, which is in July. So why now?
Thank you very much. The president, in the exercise of his prerogative of mercy, can grant prisoners amnesty on any occasion. Normally, the convention has been that it will be used to commemorate an activity, an event, so to speak. For instance, it could be Independence Day, it could be a Republic Day, right. It could be any of our national events or days that we normally celebrate. And so, as you rightly noted, this process started long ago, way before we even heard of COVID-19.
I get your point. I get your point. Not to interrupt you, but I'm just saying that this was communicated today. But you said in the explanation that this kind of release is done on other national occasions. So today is not a national occasion we're celebrating specifically?
Yes, as I said, it started long ago. We have decision taken and then implementation. And so it is the implementation that we are doing today, but the decision was made long ago. That's the point I want to make.
So, President, I want to thank you for your time this evening, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Superintendent Courage Achem is the head of public affairs at the Ghana Prison Service, joining us there. So live here on NEWS360. We're live on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. Stay with us.
Guys, let's get ready to go. You people, you know grandma and her British time. I'll leave you all. I'll leave you. Honey,